Hi, this is Matt once again with about another video, and this is a paid request for Rapid Kirby 3K. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, whether it be a topic, tier list, ranking, review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, video game playthroughs, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate it. And this time, wanted me to look into two films, kind of a versus battle. Mission to Mars versus Red Planet. Now, before I get started, they both deal with going to Mars. They both came out the same year, 2000. And weirdly enough, they both have the same rating on IMDb, which is 5.7. Which, I thought that was really weird. They both have casts with some pretty good... Mission to Mars, you got Gary Sinise, you got Tim Robbins, you got Don Cheadle, you got Jerry O'Connell. Red Planet, you got Val Kilmer, you got Tom Sizemore, you got Carrie Ann Moss, you got Terrence Stamp. And both of them were big budgeted movies. Mission to Mars cost about $100 million. Red Planet cost about 80 or so million. And both of them were big bombs. It's funny. The only films I could think of that dealt with Mars that were hits were the original Total Recall and The Martian with Matt Damon, which I liked both of those. But Mars Needs Moms, John Carter, based on John Carter of Mars, these two films, they all bombed. Now granted, these films were not really praised either. Critics hated these movies. 5.7, so it's not a highly regarded film of either sort. I don't even know if these... I don't think Mission to Mars is on Blu-ray. I don't know Red Planet is. But I know... At least, I think Mission to Mars was never on Blu-ray. Could be wrong on that. And I remember when I saw these on home video. I didn't see these in the theater. I saw them on home video. So if they came out 2000, it was probably 2001 when I saw them. I was in high school at the time. I remember having a fun little conversation with one of my teachers, because he was like one of the only ones into movies like I was. And I think like he was into Mission to Mars, and I was more into Red Planet. It was Mr. Larson, I believe. Well, I mean, if you're still with us, you somehow see this, I'm kind of on your side now, because as time went on, Red Planet, that decreased for me, and Mission to Mars grew on me. Now maybe because at the time I'm much more, even nowadays I'm much more of an action guy. Action is my favorite genre, and I'm a little bit more deviating towards action, sense of action, action sequences. And that's a little bit of Red Planet, while in Mission to Mars is a bit more 2001: Space Odyssey, Contact, the story, Chariots of the Gods. And as time went on, I appreciate that stuff more. I like that stuff more. I like 2001. I like 2010. I like Contact. So I like Mission to Mars. Red Planet, not so much. I haven't seen these films in forever. Funny enough, I actually have right here Red Planet. Actually, I just realized. Anyway, right here. And I haven't rewatched this in a long ass time. I should have probably done it for this review, but there it is right here. And do I have Mission to Mars? It might be over there. To be fair, I watched these online because it's easier that way. Because up until now, I forgot I had this DVD. But there's nothing on the DVD. I do not think it's the best thriller since The Matrix. No. They didn't find life on Mars, they found them. Well, it's better than the other tagline, The Color of Fear. In this, like... I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah. So this one was trying to be a little bit more survival movie, a little bit more action, while Mission Mars tried to be a bit more optimistic and again 2001 contact variety. Now, Mission to Mars was directed by Brian De Palma. It's probably the most forgotten Brian De Palma film, but I do like it. But I am a De Palma fan. I love Starface. I liked Carrie. I liked Snake Eyes even. As flawed as it is, I do like Snake Eyes. Casualties of War is great. Body Double. That's a film I need to rewatch. One, I do remember really liking that one. Blowout is good. It's a bummer of an ending, so it's not one I rewatch much, but it is well made. It's well acted. Blowout. But hell of a bummer. But I like Brian De Palma. I'm not big on The Fury. I mean, I've seen worse. I mean, I like it more than Scanners, but I'm not big on The Fury. Trying to think. The Untouchables, that's a good one. So he's a very capable director. Red Planet, this guy, Anthony, I can't even read it because they put this shit in front of his. It's like they purposely did so you couldn't read the damn name. See, he's like this black, which blends in with the fucking lettering. Anthony something. It doesn't matter. This guy never worked again. This was his first film, and this was his last film. And you know what? That'd be an interesting guy to find and talk to. Because I know there were problems during this. Well, I guess both of them had their problems. Either during or post-production. And that's, again, it is interesting comparing the two. Because, again, they came out the same year. They were big budgets. They're about going to Mars. One's a very accomplished director. One's a newbie. Never done anything before or since director. Red Planet, Val Kilmer and Tom Sizemore, who were friends, grew to hate each other during the making of this film. Something about Val Kilmer was always a prick on movie sets. You could find stories from Island of Dr. Moreau to the guy who directed Jason Goes to Hell, Adam Marcus. He did a film, and he said Val Kilmer was like the worst person he ever met, making people cry, like other co-stars, like female co. He always seemed like a prick, and I'm sorry about what happened to him, but I mean, I almost want to say karma. I know this sounds mean, but if you don't treat people that badly, maybe it is a bit of karma. I don't know. Like, don't treat people that harshly on fucking movie sets. And here it seemed like it was more Val Kilmer's fault. I mean, Tom Sizemore has his issues too, and may he rest in peace. He had a lot of issues with drugs. He wasn't really the most, easy to get along with guy on set, from what I heard too. But it seems like in this instance, it was Val Kilmer who started it. But, and then Mission to Mars, there might have been stuff during production, I don't know, because couldn't find much info on this. But I remember reading up that originally, Brian De Palma had like a 3.5 hour cut to really show that this was a psychological drama. And it was Disney releasing it. They wanted more of a slam bam, action, adventure movie. So they cut a lot of it out. Now, we will never see that cut of the film, if that's the case. Granted, I don't think it needs to be 3.5 fucking hours long, but you can tell that there's some things that need a bit more flourish, a little bit more development. Probably because that was stuff cut out. I know Brian De Palma was pissed about that and was pissed at Disney. Don't worry, dude. We're all pissed at Disney. So, Now again, I don't know if what I read it they were putting me on, and there was never the case, but that's what I read. Is I want to see that footage. Yeah, not maybe not the whole 3.5. I'd see the whole 3.5 hours, then I don't know, make a fan edit. So I would say it, because you always make a fan edit if you want, cut stuff out. But yeah, so they both had their issues. Sorry, the damn sinuses acting up again. They both bombed. Like I said, I used to like Red Planet more. Like I like this more. That's why I have the DVD. But I mean, I don't hate this film. The more I think about it, I don't hate it. It is kind of there though. I do like Mission to Mars because like Val Kilmer does a decent enough job. I don't mind Tom Sizemore in the film. And I like Tom Sizemore in general. My favorite is The Relic. I know he did not like The Relic. There was an interview Tom Sizemore did where, well, they brought up this film, and Tom Sizemore said his regret was making this movie because of what happened with him and Val Kilmer. But I guess they settled their differences after the fact. And then the interviewer said, "Well, I would put The Relic in there," and Tom Sizemore said, "Yeah, I really wanted to star in a film. I should have waited for a better movie and a better script." So he wasn't a fan of The Relic either. I disagree. I think The Relic is great. It deserves a 4K. Let's get on it, Vinegar Syndrome. You did Virtuosity and Congo. Let's get The Relic. Come on. I'd gladly see that. But so again, I can understand him complain about this. The Relic, I disagree with. I think that's a really good one. Underrated one. But hey, I mean, rest in peace to him. He was a good actor, solid actor. That was my favorite role he ever did, so it's a shame he wasn't a fan of it, but what can you do? But anyway, Terrence Stamp, although he's not in it for too long, I like Carrie-Anne Moss. Again, they both have good casts. I love Darius Sinise. I think he's a great, underrated actor. Always liked Tim Robbins ever since I first saw him in Jacob's Ladder. Like I said, Jerry O'Connell, Don Cheadle. So they both have good casts. The plots are different. Damn, stupid sinuses. Sorry, I feel like it's a seizure. The plot of Mission to Mars, Don Cheadle and his team were investigating something. This wormhole happens. Or at least I call it like a storm. Looks like a wormhole. It happens like a storm, which is a big storm. A team have gone on to investigate what happened. They find Don Cheadle. Then they find out what's going on. And this, Earth is having issues, so they're going to Mars to see if they could accomplish and find something to help Earth. Eventually they do, but they crash, and this robot named Amy, which is in military mode, sort of starts hunting them down. And really, if you think about it, both films, doesn't seem like a whole lot happens if you think about it in both films. Because in Mission to Mars, you have the storm where Don Cheadle's team gets killed, but Don Cheadle's alive. You have the team going to the planet. One of them dies during it. They land, they find Don Cheadle, they figure out what's going on, and it's that bit of maybe we're the product of aliens and ancient aliens, and then trying to be a bit of 2001 with the ending. Also dealing a bit with Darius Sinise and the death of his wife and stuff. While in this one, Red Planet, they crash land, they find out there's air on Mars, they wander around, there's these bugs that have helped create oxygen, this life form, these Martian insects. Amy kills one of them, hurts another. The buds attack one, gives his life up, and then pretty much Val Kilmer's got to deal with his Amy robot, escape, and Tyrion Moss is only on the ship the whole time to repair shit, so she doesn't really have a whole lot to do but stay on the ship and repair shit. So it felt like Tyrion Moss didn't really have much to do. Didn't get much to do in this film. So again, they both... It feels like, again, maybe there's like, well, there's not a whole lot you can do on Mars. Just to be fair, I mean... But The Martian made it work, and I still thought that was a really solid movie. But okay, why do I like Mission to Mars more? I thought the story was more interesting. Yes, it's not the most original story, but the idea of our DNA and alien DNA and how the whole ancient astronaut and how we were born from what the aliens set down and the sort of the seed of the aliens gave birth to the Earth, including us. Like some of the stuff I thought was interesting enough as a sci-fi angle to it. I just thought it was more interesting than space bugs farting out oxygen. Because that's pretty much what it is at the end of the day. They find these CGI bugs and they let out oxygen, so pretty much farted out. And the Amy robot, which is this thing here, not a lot's done with that. I remember the trailer made it seem like that'd be the entire film. I thought either they were going to find something else on there. It even says they didn't find life on Mars, they found them. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be some creatures, some monsters, and like the little bugs are kind of a byproduct, but there's going to be... No. This is pretty much the Amy robot they brought with them. And even then, you don't even get to see it much. Because after the crash, they separate, they finally find it. It quickly wounds Tom Sizemore, it escapes. It hunts down one guy. You don't see much because it's... Isn't this PG-13? Yeah, it's PG-13. You're not going to see much. Val Kilmer sets a trap for it. Footstep pretty quickly. There you go. So it just felt like a lot more could have been done with that Amy robot. So the plot just didn't really amount to a whole lot of stuff happening. And then the characters don't really have a lot to interact with because I think Tyrion Moss is by herself on the ship, just talking to herself or talking to Mission Control. Terrence Stamp, as soon as they... Oh, I guess I'm spoiling... Sorry, I'm spoiling the shit. But I'm comparing the two, so there would be spoilers. So, spoilers. Terrence Stamp dies very quickly, which is too bad. So then all you have is Tom Sizemore, Val Kilmer, and I think like Simon Baker. I think it's the same guy that was in Land of the Dead. Benjamin Bratt's in it, but he's not in it for too long. Like as soon as they land, within 5 minutes, 2 people die. So just the 3 of them. Simon Baker, you know, he's the two-faced prick. You know what he's going to do. Val Kilmer and Tom Sizemore, they weren't getting along with each other, so I think they did. I mean, they hit it as best as they could, to be fair. But I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot of warm humor back and forth between the two. A whole lot because of that. There's just more opportunities with the characters of Mission to Mars to actually talk with each other, because everyone's friendly with each other. And there's just a lot more back and forth dialogue. So the characters I was able to get into a bit more, although I don't mind Val Kilmer and Red Planet. Like I said, I don't mind the actors in it. Val Kilmer had the potential of being interesting because he was pretty much the janitor of the group. So I think Val was actually pretty decent, but and it just... feel like there's a lot more that could have been done with it. And Mission to Mars, I like the musical score more, Ennio Morricone's score, especially at the end. Like the way it ends to the end credits, I think that music is pretty beautiful. Yeah, it's cliche, but the whole thing with Garrison Needs and what happened to his wife and how they were together for so long and why this means so much to him, that still gives it a bit more depth compared to the characters in Red Planet. Except maybe Terrence Stamp, but he's not in it much. Like I said, the story was more interesting to me. And also, like, the ending. Like, I still think about... Well, there's a couple scenes I think about in Mission to Mars. Spoilers. One is Tim Robbins saying goodbye to the woman he loves. I can't let you do that or you're going to die too. So he puts off his helmet and he freezes. And you see the aftermath, I think, looked pretty eerie for a PG-13 film. I thought the acting was pretty good between the two. Very sweet. I think the lady, I think she was the girl in Basic. I forget her name. Well, I mean, I got a computer here. I'll look it up real quick. I'm bad with names. Mission to... Come on. Oh, come on. Try to do something, then by the time I type it, it tries to jump something else. Connie Nielsen. Yeah, Connie Nielsen. Yeah, she was in Basic. I like her. And the way it ends where... I'll admit, the effects in these films don't hold up the best because it is the year 2000 these came out, so they're really dabbling more and more into CGI. And, you know, a lot of the CGI stuff in that time period, they don't really hold up. Granted, it's been 25 years. I just realized it's 25th anniversary of these films. Some I could deal with, like in Mission to Mars, when there's an alien showing kind of the birth of Earth and this like kind of I don't not montage but the development, I thought for its time that worked well. Same with here. I think stuff with the Amy robot looks decent for its time period. But then there's other effects like the when you see the alien itself. I wasn't really big on the design they gave the alien. I thought it looked a bit too goofy. It looked like something out of that, I don't know, Reboot? Remember that TV show or something? I don't know. It looked like something from virtual reality. I don't know, it just... I think a more classic, practical... They should have done a practical creature. I don't know, with the budget they had... You're telling me they could not afford a practical effect team to do a creature? That was a big mistake because I think it looks like shit, to be honest. Not only do the graphics, the effects look like shit, but again the design. Yeah, that's what it looks like, and that to me just looks. It just looks like shit. I don't know why they went that route. Like I was saying, I don't know what the fuck, like why they went with that design. It just looks goofy to me. It does. I mean, it's trying to do something different, but I would try to do some practical effects with it or something. But I like the intention. As corny as it sounds, as corny as it is, I like the sweet optimistic nature of it where he's been talking about this from his wife, you know, to get to this moment. Not to this one, but to get up there, to be on Mars, all this stuff. and the aliens are willing to take the visitor. He volunteers. He's got really nothing back at home because the woman he loved died. The way the music is, and he's kind of getting ready for transport. He's freaked out because all this water's over him, but he realizes it's part of the transport, and he's seeing like his life through his eyes, and then like the last shot is his wife during his wedding day. He's part of the ship going to the other upper echelon of the universe, and you see the remaining characters. Is that him? Yep. And you hear Don Cheadle say, "Have a great ride, Jim." And then the end. And the way that's done, like the way Don Cheadle says the line, the way the music elevates it, and then this quiet, sweet, good-natured music by Ennio Morricone. It just brought such, I don't know how to put it, it brought such a smile to my face. Each time I watched it, even the last time, it's been a while since I watched it, but I went, it just felt good. The way Dearcenise sold the acting before, such a nice, have a great ride, Jim. Like wishing his friend well, because you got the idea that him and Don Cheadle and him were good friends. And yeah, the black guy didn't die. It was a certain optimistic sweetness that was really appealing. It was a good feeling. It was a good-natured ending. And I don't know, it may be corny, but it made me feel good. I don't know how else to put it. Maybe it's just me. But maybe there's a part of you that wonders how you would do in that situation. That if you had nothing left, would you take the step to go on this journey to see what's next? And you're almost like, kind of like Richard Dreyfuss at the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And the music, Ennio Morricone's music, I think really helped that scene too. So I like that ending. I like the way it played out. Again, I just wish the alien itself would just do it practically. You could do it practically, and I think it would hold up better. But it looks like something, I don't know, I don't know. I kept saying like VR or something, I don't know. It looked like video game character. But anyway. So because, there's more moments that I gravitate towards, like the ending, the message being a bit optimistic and sweet. Maybe cliche, but I just got into the story, the whole vibe of it more. The message. I got into the message more. So it felt like there's a little bit more meaning to the story, a little bit more meaning. The interaction of the cast, there was a bit more to them, because it seemed like they liked each other. While here again, they either separated, or they're not there long enough, or they're pretty much hate each other on set. And some of the way Brian De Palma does the scenes, you still get a bit of that De Palma camera work and flavor to it, and he's talented at that. While this guy, I think this guy was a bit out of his league. Like I said, or maybe he wasn't and he got screwed over. Again, I don't know, because I don't know if this guy's ever done an interview. I don't know if he's ever talked about this. And I know one of the writers of this wrote Hard Target, Chuck Ferrer, which I love Hard Target. It's one of my all-time favorites. But yeah, how much of the script was changed? His name is on here, but well, I tell you what, the story, there's another writer here. Did that writer overwrite shit? It felt like if it wanted to be a survival story, it felt like there's a lot more pacing. At least there's not much, for an action movie, there's not much action. That's the thing. Mission to Mars was not selling itself as an action movie. This was. Like, this was selling itself as like a horror movie, action, like suspense. Mission to Mars, I think Mission to Mars did not mislead on what it was selling. This, I think, did. Like, you think it's going to be a lot more about the Amy robot? It's not. You think it's going to be some monsters there? It's not. You think it's going to be a bit of a thriller? They didn't even call it... I wouldn't call this much of a thriller, because I don't think there's much thrills in it. But again, I don't hate the film. It's just... Just kind of there. But disappointing. I'll call it disappointing. But anyway, yeah, most people would probably say they don't like either one of these movies. But I do like Mission to Mars. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Flawed, yes, there's, again, some effects like the end that don't work out the best. And yeah, I would love to have seen the longer cut. That maybe, you know, characters could flourish a bit more. But when if you cut out that development or important parts, then... Obviously, they were never going to release a 3.5-hour version of a movie, but maybe there could be some important stuff you keep in. Who knows? But yeah, with that said, my point would go to Mission to Mars. If you like one over the other, let me know in the comments and let me know why. I love to hear them, love to read the comments. Granted, each time I say that, not many people comment, but if you wish to, feel free. I love to read them. Thanks once again, Rapid Turby 3K. Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.